Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming along this morning for this important announcement of the UNSW Canberra Rider in Residence. So I'd like to welcome representatives from the ACT Rider Centre and also UNSW staff. We're here today for a simple announcement of the identities of the 2017, 2018 and 2019 Riders in Residence hosted by the ACT Rider Centre and UNSW Canberra. But I'm not going to tell you who they are. That's a role for some other people a little later in the proceedings. But it's the product of a unique and a very happy collaboration between the ACT Rider Centre, one of our premier cultural organisations in the ACT, and the English and Media Studies discipline here at UNSW Canberra. And it's another way to remind Canberra of the very diverse and enriching activities going on here at UNSW Canberra at ADFA. And I guess it shows that we're kind of engaged with the community in a number of areas. I mean, we're engaging with this today. We've engaged with Manuka Oval, as some of you would know, which is now called UNSW Canberra Oval for the next 3 years, with ACT women's football and a whole bunch of areas where UNSW Canberra is trying to really get itself known in the Canberra community. So for those who don't know, I've got mainly a staff audience. I think you probably all do know how we work. We're a college of UNSW hosted here at the Australian Defence Force Academy, where the University of New South Wales has been educating cadets and midshipmen of the Australian Defence Force. It says here in my notes for more than 40 years. In fact, I know in July next month it'll be 50 years since the signing of the original agreement between, probably not called the Department of Defence in those days, but between Defence and the university to start to provide tertiary education, both at Duntroon originally for Army and at HMAS Creswell for Navy. So we're a diverse and a multidisciplinary part of UNSW. We have undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in areas as diverse as business, management, IT, engineering, science, the humanities, the social sciences and a number of other areas. We have strong postgraduate programs open to the broader community, and we now graduate almost twice as many postgraduate students each year as we graduate undergraduate students. Library scholarship is a strong research area at UNSW and UNSW Canberra, and we've had a prominent role in the study of Australian literature, specifically since the 1990s. Professor Nicole Moore can tell you more about this, but it's my role to emphasise the exceptional resources that we have here, some of the best library holdings in the country in this area, as well as some truly unique special collections, specialising in the papers of contemporary Australian writers of the last 40 years. These resources will all be open to the Riders in Residence, and we're enthused about what they can make of them and glad to have the chance to promote them. Having a major rider at UNSW Canberra every year for the next 3 years will benefit all of us here on campus. Not only the undergraduates who will be able to work closely with some of Australia's most notable writers, nor the literature staff whose work is directly supplemented. As public figures, speaking to all of us through the imagination, writers provide a different kind of inspiration than usually available at universities, or for the STEM disciplines anyway. And this initiative will see UNSW Canberra sharing its resources with a reading Canberra public in truly inspiring and new ways. I'd now like to invite Professor Nicole Moore from our language and literature area to speak to you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, John. And yeah, it's a very exciting day for us here. I'm from the English and Media Studies program here, and it's been a really exciting collaboration for us with the ACT Rider Centre to bring this program into fruition. I really wanted to say thank you, first of all, to Nigel Featherstone, who's here, whose initiative was as part of the Rider Centre last year to apply to the Copyright Agency for funding for this initiative. And we really need to stand here and thank the Copyright Agency very loudly and strongly for their strong financial support for initiatives like this around the country. It's part of their remit. collecting copyright funds around the country, that they spend a portion of that income on promoting national culture as it's defined around the country. And one of the ways they choose to do that is to support initiatives like this that bring community writing centres in contact with cultural institutions and universities, where the resources of the national institutions and universities can be shared more directly with our national cultural producers. So this is one of the initiatives that support represents, and it's a really, really exciting one for us. So what is the ACT Writers in Residence program? So every year for the next 3 years, funding is going to support a writer to be in residence here at UNSW Canberra and at the ACT Writers Centre in partnership for a month in September for 2017, 2018 and 2019. We get a different writer each one of those years. The writer will be in residence in Gorman House in the city and have an office here at UNSW Canberra, access to our resources here and access to the resources at Gorman House and the Writers Centre. So a very exciting collaboration for both of us. The idea is to attract writers of prominence in Australia. In particular, we're very keen to attract writers who would otherwise not be in Canberra, to attract writers of national stature who can bring something to the Canberra arts community and can bring something to UNSW Canberra as we stand as a national institution with the Australian Defence Force Academy. And we're really excited that this year that's what we've done, and next year and the year after. But again, it's not my job to announce who those writers are. My job is to tell you about the program. The other aspect of the program, of course, is that when the writers are here in residence, they're going to be interacting not only with our undergraduates in the programs that we offer as part of the English and Media Studies major. They're also going to be doing public events. So we're doing a public event here at UNSW Canberra and also in the ACT Writers Centre, designed with the writers' talents and the writers' desires in mind, but also of great appeal to readers as well as writers in Canberra. And that's an aspect that I'm very proud of, that we are able to support a reading culture here in the national capital that engages with writers of great prominence. That's the roundup of the program. I wanted to also thank the board of the Writers Centre and of course the School of Humanities and Social Sciences here at UNSW Canberra, who've provided support in kind and financial support to make sure the writers can be here with us. So that's a terrific support and endeavour between both campuses, and I'm really excited to continue working with the ACT Writers Centre to boost the profile of literature here in Canberra, and also to keep our undergraduate population here, who are close to our hearts, we can see them everywhere, keep their minds broad, keep their minds engaged, keep their minds inspired. All right, so now I'm going to introduce Sarah, who's the director of the ACT Writers Centre, and she is going to tell you who they are.
Or will I? Thank you, Professor Arnold. There you are. And thank you, Nicole Moore. Before I make this announcement, I'd like to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people, who are the traditional custodians of this land. And I'd like to pay respect to the elders of the Ngunnawal Nation, past and present. I extend this respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in attendance today. Canberra has a strong writing culture. I wasn't going to get right into it, come on. Dramatic tension. And the ACT Writers Centre is proud of our local authors. They've achieved great feats in fiction and non-fiction across every genre. Today we welcome 3 new honorary members into our fold as we announce and welcome the ACT Writer in Residence for 2017 and announce 2018 and 2019 Writers in Residence. But before I announce the winners, and because we're all into the dramatic tension today, I'd like to thank the supporters of this project. Thanks to Nicole Moore and UNSW Canberra, who will be providing a beautiful working space and use of the library throughout the project. Their support is invaluable, and the environment is exactly what a writer needs, I think. Thanks to Arts ACT and Gorman Arts Centre for supporting the ongoing and varied work of the ACT Writers Centre. And finally, and reiterating Nicole's comments, thank you to the Copyright Agency Limited for their generous support of this project, and it means so much to have it over a 3-year period as well. Before I introduce this year's Writer-in-Residence, I'd like to announce the winners of the 2018 and 2019 residencies. In 2018, prize-winning non-fiction writer Jane Gleeson White will spend her time in Canberra researching a novel set during World War II, and we're lucky to have a little video recording. She couldn't be here today, but here's Jane.
Hi, my name is Jane Gleeson White. I'm the ACT Writer-in-Residence for 2018, and I'm so excited to have this opportunity to spend a whole month working on my new novel and having access to the extraordinary archives at UNSW, as well as, I guess, having the opportunity, I hope, to discuss my project with the scholars in residence and to draw on their expertise. My project is about the impact of the Pacific War, especially the war on New Guinea, on both the children of soldiers involved and their children. And so it will be extraordinary to have a whole month to be able to investigate the actual circumstances of the war. And I'm also looking forward to being involved in the creative community more broadly in the ACT, and basically just to have the opportunity to spend a whole month thinking about my project and writing and researching. So thanks very much. I'm very excited.
So in 2019, one of Australia's most considered and affecting poets, Angela Gardner, will take up the position as Writer-in-Residence. Her project On Air is set to include some novel public programs for Canberra, including some balloon flying. So we're all looking forward to that.
Hi, my name's Angela Gardner. I'm a poet and a visual artist. I'm the author of 4 collections of poetry, and I've got visual work in public collections here in Australia and internationally. I live on Gubbi Gubbi country in the Sunshine Coast hinterland. I'm very excited to be chosen as a Writer-in-Residence, and I'm looking forward to being in Canberra in 2019. The proposed project, the Now Solid Air, responds to the concerning news that the world's atmosphere has reached 400 parts per million of carbon, a turning point in Earth's history. This project will explore the concept of air through the practice of ekphrasis, the poetic response to works of art. This will also give me an opportunity to go to the National Library of Australia's manuscript collection of early pioneer aviators Loris Bonney and Freda Thompson. But I'd like to get other people involved and excited by the opportunities of writing from experience and of the invisible becoming more visible to us.
And now, drum roll. Later this year, we will welcome an award-winning author to Canberra. She's one of Australia's most popular science fiction authors, known for her series of young adult novels exploring the fantasy world of Ober Newton, which she started writing while she was still in high school. She's also known for her Gateway trilogy and Legend Song Saga, and she's also written short story collections and picture books. We're very excited to have the multi-award winning 2017 ACT Writer-in-Residence here today. Please join me in welcoming Isobelle Carmody.
Thanks, Sarah. It's like being the final recipient of the drop of the 7th veil. Well, Nicole was talking about the writer that they would choose this year or for the next 3 years being people who wouldn't normally come to Canberra. And I think in a way you probably couldn't find somebody less likely to be in a place like Canberra, because this seems to me to be the realest place, the most real place in Australia. But I'm a person who's always liked to be a stranger in a strange land. I think it's actually necessary for writers to be in places where they're not particularly comfortable, where they don't know anybody or anything very much. And so here I am coming to Canberra. I'm tremendously excited, really honoured to be the person who was chosen. When I applied, I didn't think I'm in Canberra after all. I didn't think I'd be the one who was chosen. So I am really honoured to be chosen for the 2017 award. I brought my daughter here earlier this year to start at ANU, at university, and none of us had ever really been here before. I'd come here to speak. I'd flown in and out the way you do as a speaker. You don't see anything. You just go somewhere, speak, and you're on a plane leaving. And we were here because we literally had to find our way through the suburbs and find our way to the university and go and buy a coffee pot and things like this. So I began to get a feel for what Canberra would be like, but I didn't have any particular feeling about it until one day we decided that we would go on a trip somewhere, and we went up to Black Mountain Tower. Is that right? Have I said that right? Black Mountain Tower. And we drove up to the hill and we walked up to this Black Mountain Tower. There wasn't another car there. It was completely deserted. And I thought, well, it's probably obsolete in some way or something. And so we were taking photos, and then my partner went near to the doors. We were just taking pictures in front of the door, but he stepped close to the door, and suddenly the doors opened. And it was a very weird, one of those weird moments when we all stood there and looked in, and then I went in. And my daughter said to me, "You can't go there, Mum." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, because no one else is going there." And I said, "Well, come on, let's go in and see what's inside." And I realised that's probably my nature. If a door opens, I will go through it. And we went in, and it was actually open up the top there. And it was just this strange moment in which what had seemed to be closed was suddenly open. And up there were people. I don't know how they got there. And there was somebody serving, and we actually bought tickets. And every step of the way up that mountain was strange. And my daughter, who lives here now, keeps saying to me, "I would really like to go back to that tower again when you come." So in a funny sort of moment, that started me thinking about what Canberra was. And I'm very interested in, one of the things I write about often is how spaces are invented by how we live in them. The way we live is what causes our environment to be the way that it is. But Canberra is this really unusual place because it was invented. It's like a political ideal that was set down as a place. And I do that as a writer. I invent place in which to make things happen. And that's what writers do, but it's not what life does. In general, we live in places, and we have a school because a lot of people are living there. But this is a place that was existing first. And I just think this is a very strange idea and a really interesting idea. And one of the things I'm looking at in the book that I'm going to write here, and I'm really excited to be coming here because I'll be starting a new book here as well. And so I'm a very porous writer. So I imagine that as I walk around, and I do a lot of walking in between writing, that I'll take in whatever it is about Canberra that's fascinating to me. And I love the fact that I almost know nothing about it, except that it was an invented space that was set down here, and then people came to live here. And I don't know what that means, but I will know what it means by the time that I finish my residency here. It's one of the things I've most looked forward to in my life, to come here and be a writer solely for a while. I'm doing a PhD at the moment, and so part of my time is study, and the other really exciting thing is to have access to the incredible holding libraries here. So that's something else I'm really looking forward to. Thank you very much for having me, for inviting me, and for hosting me later on in the year. I will be fascinated to see what I make of your city. Thank you.
Congratulations, Isobelle, on being the first writer in residence, the 2017 one. Thank you very much to Sarah for making the announcement, for Nicole for explaining what the aims of the visit were. That brings the formal part of today's proceedings to a close. Thank you all for coming, and I invite you to mingle and talk to our guests and our 2017 writer in residence. Thank you very much again for coming.